Hi, and welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Top CEO COO series at MediCircle. Today we have with us Vaibhav Tiwari of Portea. Vaibhav Tiwari is the co-founder and COO of Portea Medical. Portea Medical is Asia's largest and fastest growing in-home healthcare provider. He is actively involved in coaching and mentoring entrepreneurs and senior executives. Also, he has served as board of director, advisor, and mentor for many fast-growing companies across internet, retail, consumer, and technology verticals. Hi, Vaibhav. Welcome to MediCircle.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here.
Same here. We are most very much excited to speak to you and know about your journey. So to begin with, Vaibhav, tell us, how has Portea Medical become Asia's largest and fastest growing in-home healthcare provider?
Yeah, so I think it's a 7-year-old journey. We started, I think, middle of 2013. And the whole idea at that time was that if you look at the whole healthcare landscape, there were very good quality corporate hospitals in all the major cities, tier 1, tier 2, some tier 3 as well. And the very good quality of healthcare was being provided to patients. But if you look at outside the hospital healthcare landscape, there was tremendous need for patients, which was not probably getting fulfilled in the best possible manner. Of course, when you look at corporate hospitals and other service providers, you realize that patients are looking for high quality service and were also willing to pay for it. So we looked at outside the hospital healthcare landscape and said, let's create something which will basically serve the patient needs after they are discharged from the hospital, and all the outside the hospital healthcare, how it can be created with the same quality, with the same medical standards as you see in the top hospitals. So that was the whole idea. Fairly large space, fairly unorganized at that time. So we were the first one to organize that and said, could we provide services to patients or even preventive services to customers in their place of choice? It could be their homes, could be their offices, and so on and so forth. And of course, home was what we started with first. And Portea started basically the first organized home healthcare services, yes, which was started in under 4 key verticals. So if you see from healthcare perspective, there are 4 key verticals. That will be post-operative care. So somebody's gone for a surgery or tertiary care to a hospital. Once they're discharged, they will require rehabilitation and other support services at home. And that's something which we looked at as first vertical. Then second was on the primary care side, because we saw tremendous need for services like physiotherapy, for health checks, for doctor consults, for vaccination, tremendous need for that and demand for that. The third one is elder care, because India has a fairly large 60 plus population. India is known as a young country, but if you look at from a aging population also, India is close to 120 million 60 plus people. So that's again a very large number. And the fourth was vertical which we started focusing on was the chronic disease, actually, because India also has enough and more people who have chronic diseases like diabetes, hypertension, sleep apnea, and things like that. So we looked at these 4 key verticals and started building services step by step in that. And the first journey, of course, was to start with post-operative care. And then we built a complete range of services over a period of time. I think one big differentiation for us, and as you asked, and how we have become the largest in this particular space, I think the biggest driver for us has been our patients and our customers. So when we started, the first set of services were mostly around physiotherapy, nursing visits, and doctor visits. And then over a period of time, as we started working with our patients, we went to their homes and we understand what other needs which they may have. And the whole idea is that if you build a relationship with the patient, then can that relationship be for lifelong? Can whatever they require from a healthcare services perspective, which can be done at home for them as well as for their family members, can we basically take that complete range of services and provide it to them? And if you see, all the services which we added after the first set of services were all driven by the needs which we discovered while we were working with the patients. So we were providing physiotherapy, nursing, doctor, then of course nursing attendant is something we added. We added diagnostic capabilities. We added medical equipment, which was like a big requirement, because a lot of times when patients are getting discharged from the hospital, they will require one or other medical equipment to take care of them at home.
Yes.
So that we added some of the pharmaceutical services. So the whole range of services, if you look at even diabetes, elder care, all of those things came out of our interactions with the patient. So for us, patient has been a center of universe, and all the needs of theirs, health from healthcare perspective, which we can fulfill, we have continuously built actually. So Portea, of course, the first three tenets of when we started and when we looked at saying, okay, we have to create something national. We have to create something which is big. We have to create a brand. And the first three things were availability, reliability, and quality of service. So we said, anytime any patient asks for something in the cities where we are present, we have to make sure we are available for them. We have to be reliable. If I say I will come, I better come actually. And of course, quality of service, which is very, very critical. Saying that if I'm coming to your home, I have to provide you the hospital level quality of care. And that's something which we focus on right from the beginning. And of course, that's something which really helped us a lot to build the right scale. And over a period of time, we started working with all the key stakeholders, the ecosystem players, and could provide these range of services to all the ecosystem players. We tied up with all the large hospitals. We worked with a lot of key opinion leaders. Of course, we did a lot of work on reaching out to customers directly. We were one of the largest spenders probably from a B2C perspective on digital media in the initial few years to create some of these services as categories. And of course, then start working with the corporates, we start working with insurance companies, with pharmaceutical companies to make sure that our capabilities, our range of services are being used by every stakeholder for their patients, for their customers to offer the best services. Other thing which has been very important for us is the whole investment in the technology. So we believe that we had to create a scalable model, and given both the clinicians who are working with us as well as our patients are not with us actually, because if you see any traditional business, either your customers will be with you or employees will be with you, or both will be with you. So in our case, both are not in the office. Our employees are basically at home. They are going to patient home. They are going back. Of course, they come to work, but they will come mostly from a training and quality perspective. Patients, of course, are not in our premises. They are at their home. So that's a whole value prop. And to basically to have the right layer of technology, the right level of consumer app, to have like a clinician app, to make sure we have a very robust ERP system at the back end which binds the whole thing together. That is again something which I've invested in a big way in last 6 to 7 years, and have been able to create that whole technology backbone, which is helping us to run a fairly large operation. So I would say these are the key tenets with which we started. Of course, customer focus is something which has really helped us to scale and helped us to innovate. Actually, I think one other big differentiation for Portea is that we are very, very innovative, very entrepreneurial in our culture, and that's again something which has helped us to continuously try out new things and fail at some, become very successful in some other, and continuously grow. So I would say that's a journey. We are around 4,000 people strong right now. We are present in 22 cities, adding a lot more cities as we speak now. We do almost 150,000 patient visits a month to their homes, and spend over 1.5 million hours in patient homes actually. So that's the level of care and the engagement we are having with our patients and our customers. So that's where all the learnings come. That's where all the innovation comes from. That's where all the growth comes from.
So how does Portea manage the comprehensive services for geriatric care, ICU care at home, post-operative care, palliative care, chronic disease management like diabetes, etc. Then there is critical care and physiotherapy. So you have a lot of different kinds of services to offer. So how do you manage the comprehensive services there?
So from our perspective, as I said, there are two parts which have worked quite well. One, of course, as I was saying earlier, that patient needs are very, very important. So when we as a company work with patients, we see what kind of specialties they are discharging from, what kind of ailments they had, what kind of surgeries they have undergone, what requirements they have. And of course, as we also work with the healthcare ecosystem, like hospitals, some of the key opinion leaders, we also understand from their perspective what all services they would like to offer to their patients once they are discharged. So ICU care is a good example. We added ICU care at home around a couple of years back. Okay. And the whole idea was that patients who are in the hospital in the ICU, either for their end of life care or for their rehabilitation, once the procedure is done, then can they be at home? Because of course they will recover faster at home. And can we provide them ICU level care at home? So that was the whole idea. And we worked with the top hospitals. We worked with the top intensivists and the department heads to look at what kind of solutions we can provide to these patients. And we offered the complete range of ICU package. So that basically when we say we set up ICU at home, this will include a ventilator. This will include all the monitors, the 24/7 monitoring, a trained critical care nurse who will be on site for the patient, a doctor available at the back end to support any of the escalations and any of the patient needs. This whole solution is created along with the treating doctor. So when the doctor who's treating the patient in the hospital and discharging the patient, we work very closely with them. So they basically discharge the patient under our care. And we take care of this patient under their supervision in many ways, and work with a closed loop feedback with them. So we basically make sure that doctor understands where we stand, how the patient is doing. If a patient needs to go back to the hospital, we take him back to the same hospital, to the same doctor. So that is something which has played out very well. And of course, the need came from both from our stakeholders in hospitals as well as from our patients. At any point in time, we'll be running anywhere between 100 to 150 ICUs at home. So right now, as we speak, you'll probably have 150 ICUs set up at home where patients in critical care are being taken care of. And as we added that capability and of course, patients started benefiting out of it, we also looked at what other areas we can support them with. And of course, COVID has been a big game changer, if that's a word to use in that, because for example, during COVID times, patients who are like cancer patients, they are very vulnerable. So they are not looking at going back to the hospitals. So how do you make sure that all that requirement which they have can be taken care of at home? And we worked with quite a few stakeholders in recent time and have been offering complete oncology support services at home, including chemotherapy. So there are hundreds of patients whom we have worked with along with doctors and treating doctors and hospitals, and done chemotherapy at home because they are not, patients are wary of going to the hospitals right now. This could be long-term care. This could be short-term nursing care when a nurse will go to their homes and do the drug infusion for them from time to time basis their schedule prescribed by the doctor. So that's again something which has worked quite well from a patient need fulfillment perspective. And of course, we work with the large elderly population, both for their post-operative care as well as for their general duty assistance, what we call. If patient elderly will require support at home with their day-to-day living needs actually, and we have been doing quite a bit of that. We do a lot of dementia care actually. If you look at dementia, Alzheimer care, we have been offering that to elderly. At any point in time, probably 200, 250 patients who have dementia are being taken care of by us at home. So that's again something which has grown significantly, and we have been able to create real value for our patients in terms of how well they can be taken care of at home. And as I said earlier, also diabetes and other kind of requirements have continuously come to us, and we have added those solutions and have continuously grown that.
So I think, Vaibhav, this might be a boon, proved as a boon to those patients who might have undergone surgeries or planned surgeries during COVID time, and they are more prone to infection, but yes, they are non-COVID, so they can be treated and they can recover at their home with OT ICU care. So it's a
ICU care, oncology care. In fact, because we are talking of COVID times, during COVID times, we also worked with many state governments and created this whole home isolation program, which is a combination of our remote healthcare management services and government support in basically doing all the on-ground support. We started this program, first of its kind, along with Delhi government in early May, after the government allowed for asymptomatic and early low symptom patients, COVID patients, to be taken care of at home under home isolation program. So we launched this program along with Delhi government early May. And after that, we launched that program with 7 different state governments, have managed over 250,000 patients in home isolation for COVID support. That's again something which has been very, very sizable. Yes. And the whole program got created along with governments totally remotely. I mean, this was during the peak of lockdown. So it's not that we could meet anybody. All the Zoom meetings with everybody could create this solution. We got the whole teams together with doctors, nurses, healthcare workers available round the clock, with our patient engagement platform as the backbone where all the patient details were taken care of. So all the governments basically asked us to take care of patients in home isolation. We ran that. Any of their emergency support was managed by us along with governments. Less than 3% patients needed to go to the hospitals. Very, very low mortality rate from home isolation. So this has been a big support in COVID management for the country. And this, in fact, the first the first program which we created along with Delhi government got covered by HBR recently as one of the healthcare innovations in public healthcare in India. So that has been a big positive. And we are very happy that we could do something for the country in this hour of crisis, the largest healthcare crisis hopefully we have seen in our lifetime. So that has been another thing, which again, as I was mentioning, has been driven by the urge to innovate for us. Actually, that's something which has been a big driver for us, and that's what has helped us to create this program as well.
Sure. So Vaibhav, you are actively involved in coaching and mentoring entrepreneurs and senior executives. And you have also served as a board of director, advisor, and mentor for many fast-growing companies across internet, retail, consumer, and technology verticals. So which role do you enjoy the most?
I think I would say I enjoy building teams. I enjoy building businesses. I enjoy grooming people, mentoring people, coaching people. I think that's something which is core to building any large business, because people are the ones who finally do what they have to do. And if you can build the right team, if you can groom the right team, that's something which works out the best in long term. So that I do for, of course, wherever I have been involved as a co-founder or as an employee in my past lives. I have basically made sure that team development, team building is something which is core to me. And that's something which I've always focused on. And over a period of time, I have been involved with a few startups as well to support them basically in their growth path, both from mentoring, coaching, as well as business coaching perspective. And I'm happy that at least three to four companies have done quite well where I've been involved as a coach for the CEO or for the founder. That's something which probably gives me the maximum joy in all my day-to-day working. Same thing in the company, same thing outside the company wherever involved.
Sure. So you have published numerous papers also. I mean, your articles with so many leading publications over the years. You have been a judge and mentor at many industry events like Power of Ideas, TiE Entrepreneurship Events, NEN, IBM Smart Camp, Women Entrepreneurship Quest, IIT K-Fest, and SLP, etc. And I've been an accomplished speaker at many forums, events like CII, Pune Connect, TiE, Cloud Connect, Interop, ISB, VCC Circle. There are so many to go. So how has your journey been?
I think this has been a very good journey, fulfilling journey in that sense, because wherever we're involved, the two parts to it, as I said, from a mentoring or judging perspective, whatever I've learned in my own small way, limited way, I try to pass it on as much as possible to the people within the system and people outside, wherever I get to interact with them. So whatever learnings I have had my startups which have worked well, which have failed also. So I have seen both sides of it, and whatever best I can do to tell people what I learned through that. Actually, I think a lot of people always get caught up in what you learn when you become successful. I think there's tremendous learning and when you fail as well. And I have been on both sides. So I continuously look at how can I share my experiences with people. And of course, how we can look at what are the business ideas possible going forward, what kind of mistakes entrepreneurs make in the first few years of when they start a company. So all my learnings I try to pass on as much as possible, and every chance I get to interact with the like-minded people where I can share my knowledge, I do that actually, and that has been very fulfilling journeys.
So thank you so much, Vaibhav, for joining us today on MediCircle and sharing your insightful views with us. I think Portea has done really a great and commendable job by standing to all these patients and offering them home health services when it was actually needed and the utmost needed thing. I think you have inspired lots of lives, and lots of readers and audiences who would be listening to this video would be really enjoying, because an entrepreneur journey is just not a roller coaster journey. It's like they have been facing successes and failures. As you said that you have also succeeded and failed, but here you are there, And it is the fact that you have always given your best. So it is really, really inspiring to speak to someone like you, and really all the best for all your future endeavors.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for having me here. And I enjoyed talking to you guys.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.